Fish, we are live. This is Daily Fish. We're coming to you from Vegas and Myrtle Beach and doing kind of a quickie here just to kind of say hello and see what's going on. A lot of stuff going on in the sports world, Fish.
Yeah, good morning. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I don't know if there's a poltergeist going on in my man cave, but kind of broke up and it was kind of sad. Yeah, a lot going on in the sports world, but um, the big news this morning is that Ron DeSantis has a 23-point lead over Donald Trump in early polling. I know you don't trust the polling, but it's going to be a little interesting race in the GOP to see who runs for president in 2024. And you have to announce if you're running by April of next year, and that's coming very soon, correct?
Yeah, it is. And, a lot's going to change because there's a huge battle over who's going to be Speaker of the House in the Republicans. And there's a lot of people that are not backing Kevin McCarthy to give him give him the majority. And at the same time, too, even if he got the majority, it's going to be a thankless job. And I think what you're going to see is it's going to be a huge battle within the Republican Party. A lot of them want to go and they want to start indicting and Biden and other people in the Democratic Party. There's other ones that just want to start moving ahead. They want to get away from Trump. So I think there's going to be a big battle there that we're going to have to watch over certainly the next 2 or 3 weeks or so, certainly going into January. And then we're going to get into what will actually affect the presidential race on the GOP side. And I'm not certain, DeSantis has some really good numbers. I just don't know if he's going to resonate across the rest of the country. I mean, he resonates down in Florida. And, you take him outside of that. I mean, I don't know if he's going to resonate in Georgia, nearby Georgia. Look what, Warnock beat Herschel Walker. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a lot of chaos, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that's not going to get done legislatively. And so, get ready for a little laissez-faire and fending for yourself.
Well, we have a lot of stupidity in our government. We have a lot of stupidity in the Supreme Court. Clarence Thomas is against Biden signed a bill in yesterday protecting same-sex marriages and interracial marriages, and Clarence Thomas has a problem with that, and he married a white girl, a woman. I don't understand. If you fall in love with someone, marry him. I remember back in the 80s, I was covering a bar called Jay Sloan's in West Hollywood. It's one of the bars that was in the Mom Saloon chain. It happened to be the day of the Gay Pride Parade, and all these guys are going down there, filibustering down the street, with the little tutus on. I had a homophobic guy I worked with, and he goes, "Oh, look at all these faggots." I said, whoa, hang on, man. Who cares? Who gives a shit? He goes, "Look at it this way. The more of them, the more girls for us." He goes, "You're right." So, I mean, who cares? If you fall in love with someone, who cares? I mean, is that where we're at right now? The European countries and the rest of the world have to laugh their asses off at how we're going backwards. Who cares who you fall in love with? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I?
I don't think so at all. I'm right with you on that. It's one of the interesting things is that, my aunt, her name was Mary Daly Redden, and God rest her soul. She was a great woman. She was a tough woman. She was a very staunch Catholic, followed the Catholic rules. And as she was getting older, and I want to say she died in the early 2000s, and in late 1990s, and I knew she was very conservative Catholic, and something came up about gay marriage or something like that, and so she goes, who really cares as long as you love each other? And I was like, wow, somebody who was very staunch, who looked at that, and I always remembered that, and I always thought, that's from somebody from the other side that would normally oppose that. So, and I've always taken that, and I've always believed that, and we both have a number of gay friends, and it's like, hey, we applaud them as long as they're happy. I mean, that's the important thing.
Well, and the government should have no say in who you love. And on a lighter note, one of the shows I watch, I'm doing a plug for, because I stopped watching a lot of the morning shows because it's too much vitriol, and it's not what entertains me. But there's a show called The Carton Show that's on Fox Sports One. Craig Carton is a guy that went to jail for fraud, and we got a lot of guys going to jail for fraud right now. He's back on the airways with Greg Jennings and Cody Decker, and he has a segment this morning, which is something that we want to get out in our podcast. And he says, you know what? I'm pissed off that Croatia didn't beat Argentina because Miss Croatia run on the streets naked and never get. So he asked the panel, which girls would you want to see naked from which country? I think Jane said Brazil. Why not? Giselle Bundchen's from Brazil. I think Decker said United States. So Carton says, not France. They go, why? French women are beautiful. He goes, nah, it's a hygiene problem. He goes, I want a girl that has less of a beard than I do. And he said that on national TV. Does that sound like someone that's on this show would say something like that? I mean, you got to light it up. We light it up on Daily Fish. Wait, I'm going to segue into you to help us out here. So as we end the year of another year of Daily Fish, we're going to start getting into Daily always sets up some great interviews with people. And I got a few too. I got a couple of circus clowns that come on. But next month to start it off on January 12th, who are we interviewing, John?
Some guy. He's had a couple of minor roles in some different things. Actually, he's probably the greatest actor of our time. I mean, a lot of people will certainly put him in the top 5 of actors. It's Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad fame. We're definitely going to. We had him on about a year ago, and he actually mixed a drink with us because he owns a mezcal called Dos Hombres with his co-star on the show. So he actually mixed a drink with us. What was interesting is that we were anticipating the Better Call Saul final at the time, and so we kind of pushed him, and no. And of course, all of a sudden, as you predicted, Fish, he popped in and appeared on it. Walter White appeared on it. So we're going to hit him with that and talk about that. He's got some other movies coming out, and so it's going to be a little bit of a kind of a press tour. So they slated us in so we can get him. So we'll have that. And we're looking at some other folks on the straight sports side. Mike Maddox, who's now the pitching coach for the Texas Rangers. He left the Cardinals. He's now at the Rangers, and one of the reasons he lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area now. Originally from Las Vegas, he was born and raised in Vegas, along with his brother, who was a Hall of Fame pitcher, and Greg Maddox. So he's going to come on, and if you look at what's going on in the Hot Stove League, the Texas Rangers are really, from last year and then this year, they're really making some moves. So they're a real interesting team, along with the Padres and the Mets and the Phillies as well. So we're going to talk to him about that. We're going to talk about pitching. And of course, we're going to get into, can you save baseball? I don't know how much he's going to talk about that. And then I think we're close to getting an author by the name of Chris Steyerwalt. And he's written a book called Broken News: Why the Media Rage Machine Divides America and How to Fight Back. It's a fascinating book. And he worked at Fox News. He was the political editor there. And he was the one who in 2020, he told the news anchors, Trump lost, Biden's the winner. And they fired him for doing that, even though he was right. And he got it right. So we're trying to get him on there. And this book is a great book. I would tell people to read the book because, again, we're, what we do here, we say, oh, we're not woke, we're not extreme and all this. We're not. We see all different sides. This guy sees so many different sides. And we'll be the first to criticize the left as well as criticize the right. And, we try to get it, not down the middle. We just try to get, here's the truth of it. We understand where you're coming from. This guy's got some great insight into what's going on in the media. And so we're going to try to get him on there. We've got about, 2 or 3 other people. We got some people who have written a book who are in the movie industry, kind of behind the scenes, got some good stuff. So we're getting ready to get this other guy on. In fact, I'll mention the book because I've got it right here. It's called Not Just Sunglasses and Autographs. It's 30 years of film and television production with the life and near death of lessons. And this guy, his name is Tommy Burke. And he actually reached out to me because he saw Daily Fish, and he remembered actually being an assistant director on one of the I think it was one of the movies or films or whatever I was doing back in the early 2000s. So we got a lot of people coming up, and that's and what we've done, Fish, brilliant. And I got to give you this, is that, we do the whole show where it's you and me talking along with Hardline and his bets, and that's the show. And then we just do a show with a guest, and the guest is on from the beginning to the end. So we do it that way. So we kind of break things up. Because we found, and talk about this, because we would bring Cranston on and people would go, I want to hear Cranston. I want to hear Cranston. Oh my God, how can I wait 20 minutes? Well, you're going to hit Cranston right off the top.
We promise not to have any guests that are boring. That screwed us last year. I'm not mentioning names, but if we have a boring guest, it doesn't resonate. You can't sell a podcast on boredom. That's why I'm thinking about sitting out some of these things. We criticize the left and the right because they both have their own agendas, and we try and get everyone's response. We have a huge Trump audience, huge. I see it at Chuck's Tavern. So I try to get their perspective, and then we add our own perspective. A lot of things the left does, I can't stand. A lot of things the right does, I can't stand. Let me ask you this, to digress. How many high school reunions have you gone to? You've been out of high school now for what, 8 years?
Yeah. I was. It was right after the Civil War was when I graduated from college, from high school. Yeah. So, I would say I've been to 3 of them. I haven't. I've got one coming up. I got one coming up in 2024, which I believe is my 50th. Believe it or not. So. Yeah, so that's in a couple of years. But and again, I'm from West Hartford, Connecticut, so I haven't lived in that area for a while. So if it turns out, like, I was supposed to go to one of them, and I was in Hong Kong doing a shoot, so I couldn't go to it. But for the most part, yeah, I try to go to them. The ones that I've been to, and I don't know if it's just my class, but everybody is just so cool. And they had to kick us out of the place because we all were sitting talking for so long. It was like 2:00 in the morning. We didn't. So I look forward to mine. How about you?
I went to one. I went to the 30th. I didn't go to the 10th. They said they did a survey about what reunion you should go to. Only go to the first one because you're 28 years old. Most of you aren't married, and you're fucking the girls that you didn't want to fuck in high school because they look great now. And some of the girls that look great are fat, and you go, oh my God, it's only 10 years. That's the best one to go to. I didn't go to it. I think it was at the Dodger game with Kirk Gibson, with my now wife. Yeah, I think it was. So you got to pass it going to the World Series or go to that. So that was. And the second one I was in Europe, and then the third I went to the 30th. It was a lot of fun. I didn't go to the 40th, and I'll probably go to the 50th and stuff like that. But they said, I was watching this thing, listening to Howard Stern. He goes, you got to go to your first. For all these young kids out there that graduate high school, you're 28 years old. You're still young. Now, I remember when I was, most of our high school class wasn't 20. So it's a free for all. I think they had it at some hotel. Oh my God, I wish I would have went. But I saw sports history. But that's our advice at Daily Fish. Go to your first high school reunion.
Yeah, I kind of see, and I think I did go to my first. But here's another thing that I've learned. And again, my wife, Terry, and I, we've been married for 30, 36, 37 years. And I used to go to her high school reunions, and she went to some of mine. And as we got older, we were kind of like, why don't you just go on your own? Because you're just going to talk with.
You never bring your spouse. You never.
I agree. And she was like, she goes, it's boring to me. It's old stories that I didn't know about. And you feel the same way too, when you go to mine. So I didn't bring them. And the only reason I brought her was because some of my best friends had their spouses with them. So, it was kind of like more of a reunion of families more than anything else. But yeah, I agree. I think when you go, don't bring your spouse. You don't need, because you're going to bore the crap out of your spouse. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Hey Mary, this is Mary Jane Roddenpooch. Yeah, I had her under. Oh yeah, forget that story. Nah, you don't. But I said the basis of this little conversation was, if you're going to have a reunion, go to your first one. because by the time your second one, you might be married and settled down. By your third one, your kids, you could be grandfathers. You never know. So on that note, wow, there's so much to binge watch right now. I just got done doing the second season of Firefly Lane with Katherine Heigl and Sarah Chalke. Great story. We talked about Wednesday on one of our previous podcasts. There's some good coming out. Tell you what's coming out on Amazon very soon. Did you ever see the first season, John, of Hunters with Al Pacino, about them going after Nazis that are still alive?
I think I read the book about it, but I did not see the. I did
Season
not
2's
see that.
coming
Thing.
out.
Wow.
Season 2 is coming out. So, and then the book coming back on Amazon. So it seems like the great thing about now that the younger generation has is you always have something to watch. When we were younger, you had the 3 major networks, and that was it. There were 13, 14 shows you had called reruns. So you had to watch a rerun.
Yeah. Or you
Maybe
go to
that's
the
why
movie.
baseball ratings were so high back then, because you couldn't watch anything else, but baseball was live. That's a concept, that you watch more live sports, because I already saw that episode that the Jeffersons are all in the family, or I already saw that Hawaii Five-0 shows way back then, kids. So I just thought about the top of my head, but no, I'm excited about the new year coming up with us, and we're gonna have interview shows. If we're doing an interview, I need you to chime in. I need you to do stuff like this. Comment, and I like everything. I'm gonna put you on, and that's what we. Hi, Marnie. I don't know who Marnie is, but hi.
Marnie is actually one of my wife's
comment
clients.
And say, hey.
Marnie is actually one of Terry's clients, and she's working her out right now, and they're actually listening while they're doing a power walk.
Great. Well, Terry, his wife, is just one of the real pearls of the world. She's just not only is she a great woman, but she trains people to feel better. And if you're a person that has aches and pains when you get into your octogenarian age group, that she's the one you want to see in the Carolina area. So that being said, John, are you excited? Are you excited about any bowl? The bowl season starts, John. Plug her. But that being said, you live in Carolinas, which is a hotbed for football and obviously college basketball. But the bowl season starts on Friday, and rest in peace, Mike Leach. I always thought this guy was a character watching him. Just passed away. He was a Mississippi State coach. I just heard Keith Olbermann say that whenever you interviewed him, he wanted to talk about anything other than football. He never played ball, had a law degree, and he would ask you questions. When he called to interview him at ESPN, he'd say, I want to talk about Magellan or Christopher Columbus, who never really stepped foot on America. That kind of character. And you find out what a leader is. He had a heart attack at 61. So what a shame.
Yeah. It's funny. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Jim Valvano. A great coach, and knew the game, but also loved loved intellectual things. Valvano actually loved Shakespeare. We found out from his daughter Jamie. So he's a great loss. I remember when that came across that he'd been rushed to the hospital, and then you kept hearing things about it's not good, and it's like, wow, So you are beginning to see stuff like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, bowl season starts right now. What did Lombardi say? The game of December, the one a lot of teams will be eliminated this weekend. Some have already been eliminated. The biggest oops. We still there?
You're breaking up. You're breaking up a bit.
Are we there?
You're breaking up.